Like you say, for me, I come from an ordinary, to be honest, quite a poor background, really. And when I was a kid, I just wanted to make money. It's hard being poor. You get judged for being poor, you know. I didn't want to be poor no more. I wanted to make some money, and you know, I thought I was smart and I could do it, you know. So I went into the city, but the truth is, because of the kind of background I come from, what I thought was a lot of money was not what they was making in the city. They was making a lot more money in the city, you know what I mean? And I remember like my first bonus day, like what I was expecting. And for me, in my head, that was like, wow. And then when I went into the room, the boss man, he was a big guy, I remember, he had this little piece of paper on the table. And I looked at it and I was like, is it that number? And he was like, yeah, it's that number. And I remember I literally said, wow, that's a big number. And because for me, like, the first thing that come to my head was my dad, basically. You know, my dad worked for the post office for, I think, 35 years. And when I was a young kid, he used to start work really early in the morning. I remember he used to leave home at like 5:30 or something. And my mum used to wake us up, and the train used to run right past my bedroom. And then my dad would look out the window and we would try and see my dad on the way in, you know. And he was up like before, you know, early, before the sun come up every day, going in, and he never made a lot of money, you know. And we never really had that much. But he was up every day, 5 a.m., going in. And it's funny, like, I was there in the room and I should have been super happy. But the first thing I thought of was my dad, every day up, 5 a.m., you know what I mean? Going into work. And then thinking, I think I was 22. And I was making like maybe more than 10 times. My dad made in 1 year. And it was just a madness. It was a madness. I went back to my desk and I was just like in shock. And the guy next to, these guys thought it was funny. They thought I was funny, like me coming in like sort of like a street kid. They thought it was funny. The guy next to me was like, just go take a moment. And listen, of course, like, I'm super grateful. I know what it's like to not have money. I'm super grateful that I've got money now and I'm secure. But it's difficult, like, to be like fully happy when you've grown up and you've seen how hard some people are working to make so little and to struggle, and you know that as a 22-year-old you can walk into the city and make this 10 times that. So yeah, I'm conflicted because on the one hand, look, it's mad important to, like, I know that there's people from worlds where that's not a lot of money, because I've seen both sides of the coin, you know. So I know that there's people making that money, and I think kids from my sort of background have every right to make what those guys are making, and to get financial security and to get property. But at the same time, when people like my dad and my friends' dads are working so hard and getting so little, it's hard not to feel that there's unfairness there. Anyone getting involved in that world of online trading, online foreign exchange trading, forex betting, that is a dangerous world, a very, very dangerous world. You know, I do some of this online, and I don't mean that as an endorsement, but you know, people get dragged into using trading strategies. They're sitting there every day, buy, sell. The truth is, the vast majority of people that do that, they lose money. Basically, it's gambling. Basically, it is gambling. It's not really that different to you going in and doing the slot machines or just betting on the sports. But because it's foreign exchange and trading, people sort of think it's investing. But the truth is, if you don't know what you're doing, if you don't have a really solid handle, that is gambling. Gambling can ruin lives, it can ruin families. So anyone out there doing that, please be careful. Don't gamble more than you can afford to lose. Make sure you know what you're doing. Don't be fooled into thinking you're a big shot trader if you're not. But at the same time, look, I fully understand it. I know how difficult it is to make money from working. I know how difficult it is to make money from working. And then at the same time, like I say, I've been in a city and I've studied at Oxford, you know, and I see people born into money that have millions, you know, and then I see people working that can't get anything. And then people see people like me going to the city, essentially gambling and making a lot of money, you know. Like, realistically, we live in a world now where the only way to get rich is to be born rich or to gamble, you know. So people are at home and they want to gamble, but the truth is, it's dangerous. It's dangerous. You can lose a lot of money, and for a lot of people, that's money that they can't afford to lose. So I understand it, but the truth is, for most people who don't have some sort of advantage, some sort of special knowledge, it's gambling, it's dangerous. Be careful. So I think you need to understand exactly how I made money in the city, all right? My job, I started working in 2008. That was when the big crash happened, all right? My job was essentially to predict when will there be a recovery, okay? And in 2008, all the economists thought it will happen next year, 2009, But that didn't happen, right? 2009, everybody said next year, 2010. That didn't happen, right? In 2010, everyone was like, okay, well, it'll take one more year, 2011, right? That was mind-blowing to me, right? I studied at London School of Economics. We thought everybody understood what was happening. Then I went to work in the city with a bunch of millionaires who get paid six-figure salaries, sometimes more, to understand what's gonna happen, and they're wrong every year. For me, that was amazing, but also it was opportunity. Because if these guys, the best paid guys, if they don't know what's happening, then it's me, I can do it. I'm as good as anyone else, right? If I can figure out why there's no recovery, then I can be a millionaire, basically. So I was obsessed with this idea, why is there no recovery? Why is there no recovery? And I came to the conclusion that all this money that was getting poured into the economy, it wasn't going to ordinary people, it was going to rich people. Now, unlike most people in that world, I could see that there's a difference between what ordinary people do and what rich people do. Ordinary people spend their money, rich people save it. If you give millions to the richest, all you're going to do is push up asset prices, stock prices, house prices. You're not going to make the economy recover. Now, if that's what's happening, then that means there will be no economic recovery. When I realized that, it was like a penny dropping. I went back to the desk, I put a massive bet on there will never be an economic recovery. By the end of that year, 2011, when I was 24, I was the most profitable trader at Citibank in the world by betting that there would never be an economic recovery, all right? You know, and that's worked every year since, right? But can you imagine what kind of situation that puts me in? One, you are one of the best traders going, you're making loads of money, and it's because you're betting there will never be an economic recovery. And then at the end of the year, I get paid a load of money, and it's just like, well done, do it again. But I mean, how many times can you get paid a load of money for betting the world's going to be terrible forever before you start thinking, maybe I've got some sort of obligation to at least try and tell people that this economic problem is serious and forever and not getting better. You know, I've said it enough times, I come from an ordinary background. People like my parents, like my friends, like the kids I grow up with, they are the guys that are getting hurt here. And the future generations are not going to have a chance if we don't do something about this. And look, I'm not pretending to be an angel, I'm not Mahatma Gandhi, I made my money, but I made my money by betting on and understanding that the economy will be weak forever. You know, if you knew that your next door neighbor's house was going to burn down, you got to tell them, right? Well, that is what I'm seeing. This is an economy that is going to burn down if we don't do anything. And I could sit in one of these skyscrapers in Canary Wharf and make £1 million a year, but then, you know, the economy will still burn down. And what am I going to tell my kids? I'm going to say, oh, well, I made my money betting the economy would burn down. Did you tell anyone? Did you try and do anything about it? You know what I mean? Like, listen, I made my money. You know? I'm not an angel, but at the same time, I care about this country and the people of this country and the world and what happens to the economy. And if I made money betting that the economy is going to break, I feel I at least have an obligation to try and tell people, listen, this economy is going to break, it's breaking. I understand how to fix it. If nobody listens, then maybe I'll go back, but I've got to try.